Today I'm joined by Fa Fon. So thank you girls for joining me for the first episode of In Conversation With. Introduce yourselves and kind of explain a bit about what you do.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having us on. So cute.
So my name is Fawn and this is my twin sister Fa. And we're visual content creators based in London at the moment.
You're kind of multidisciplinary. So what kind of areas do you kind of focus on? Because I know you do quite a lot, and I've obviously worked with you more for kind of the visual elements and a lot of the green, like we obviously did the Halloween campaign together with the green screen. I know there's like loads of other things you do. So if you want to explain a bit about that and kind of, because you're quite broad in your skill set.
Yeah, I mean, I think we mainly kind of focus in on graphic design, but I think that we've dabbled in the past with some fine art and kind of performative art. And I think we are now kind of into 3D renders.
Yeah, but I think we combine everything anyways, because obviously graphic design and visual creation is such like a broad subject anyways. And if you're skilled in 3D design, illustration, layout, you can kind of just branch into any most design disciplinaries. So I think that's super helpful because it means that we can explore other paths and other sectors.
Definitely. Yeah, you're quite broad in that aspect. And I guess I don't really know much about your background. So I guess if you want to explain a bit, I know, did you go to university? I mean, explain a bit about that, about your background, how you got into the creative industry and your education.
Yeah, so we both went to CSM. I don't know if people know it, but it's just a London uni, art and design uni. And I did graphic design and communications, and then I branched into advertising, because obviously you kind of have to pick a sector once. First year it was broad graphic design, you do everything photography, illustration, printmaking, and then you kind of branch into the field you want to go into. So I did marketing and advertising, which was weird. I guess it was the only one that I was okay, I can see myself doing. So yeah, I kind of learned a lot of technical things from there, and I kind of learned that I definitely didn't want to go into mainstream advertising.
Yeah. I mean, I had a bit of a tumultuous relationship with uni. I feel I don't know if it's bad for a creative to be really difficult with decisions and everything, but I did a year graphics design, decided I didn't like that, and then I did a year jewelry design, which is two very, very different pathways. So, it's very much what do I want to do, kind of, and coming out of probation, it was a bit of a rush, trying to find a degree, but I mean, it taught me a lot, to be fair. So.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty similar with me. Obviously, I studied fashion, so completely different to what I'm doing now. But I guess people are always oh, should creatives go to uni? Should they not? And it's a bit do we not? And I know it's not essential for a lot of people. But I think personally, for me, I definitely developed my, I guess, aesthetic, or what I like, or what I'm drawn to. So even in fashion, I think I was always drawn to kind of editorial style kind of visuals, but I didn't even know what art direction was at that point. So I didn't even know what my job is now then. So I think when I was looking at all these kind of magazines and everything, which I ended up interning at different magazines, I was thinking, oh, I must like the styling, or I must like the fashion, but I think it was the overall image, which is what I was drawn to. So I think for me, uni actually helped me develop a taste. I don't know if I would have got that if I stayed at home, from a small town and things like that. I think I developed my taste from that.
Even if you didn't really learn a lot from the actual courses, if you go away to uni physically, then it does give you the confidence to kind of mature and become a bit of an adult. So I feel it's good for anyone to kind of move away from home a bit. If they
definitely.
It's just good for kind of building character, to kind of meet other people and open yourself up to kind of a bigger.
Yeah, I think being around people that kind of appreciate the same things as you, because I know, like, where are you from originally? Is it not Surrey? Is it?
Originally from Thailand, but we moved over when we were 7 to East Sussex, so the south of England. I was super kind of like suburbia, very quiet. So I mean, nobody's artistic at all. So
Yeah.
you know, as soon as you move to London, you kind of see the saturation against what you kind of moved. It was crazy.
The contrast is huge. You're just like, well, this is
and I guess it's good for your confidence in your art. I think, like, when you're around other people that are kind of pushing like different boundaries, I think it helps you. Like, I know when I went to uni, my closer friends were ones that were exploring more avant-garde fashion, and like we were really pushing like what it was to what fashion really was. And I think being around those kind of people, it does kind of bring out the creativity in you. So yeah, I think I relate to you on that, being from a small town where none of my friends really were in the creative industry at all. So it definitely helps moving. And I think I went to Bristol, and that was like a stepping stone for me to then move to London. But yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting to see how would you recommend people go to uni, or what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I don't think it's necessary, but it does build the confidence. Like, I think that you can still make it in the industry without going to uni and just having the course and like yourself do some online classes. Because I know that there's a lot of stigma that to make it in the art industry, you have to go to the best unis, you have to go to like the competitive unis, but I don't think that's necessary.
But a lot of students come out of CSM being like, you know, they get into CSM and they're like, this is it, I made the start of my career. But you don't realize other talented students from other unis as well who are willing to work like 3 times harder than you. You know what I mean? So it's just it's very like, and then just like, as soon as we graduate, this is it. Like, we're gonna be off, jobs are gonna be lining up, and then it's a really tough reality because CSM don't teach you how to function after university. They obviously teach you how to get the grades, and it's just like, this is what we think, this is what you should kind of conform to, in the fact that this is the aesthetic, right? Because it's so obvious. You can definitely tell what the CSM students kind of work is. It's so it's definitely like a guideline in terms of like what they like.
But I feel like that's what every uni does. Every uni have an image that they want for their students, and like they think that you should go in. Even with like industry sectors, you have to get like universities cater to that particular industry.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, from my uni personally, I felt like the business aspect isn't taught within art and design school because it's so not, you know, it's not the thing to talk about money. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about your design, but it's not about the money, and it's not about like.
Yeah, I guess moving on a bit, like we've kind of had that conversation. I know privately we've had that conversation where we feel like there's a little bit of this kind of shame about earning money in the creative industry, especially in London. And I think when you move to London, I've been around other creatives and they've been like, I don't want to earn money from doing, like, I don't care if I don't earn any money. I'm just going to do what I love, and I'm not giving in to the man. I'm going to like work part-time in a pub or whatever and have it fund my, like, what I love. And I think I've said to you before, like, there is jobs out there where you can do what you love and earn good money for it. And I think there's this weird kind of connotation that you can't earn money in the creative industry, and there's a lot of money to be earned. And I think I have like an assistant at the moment, and I try and tell her, like, if there's budgets for shoots, there's budgets for you to be paid. And like I know everyone works for free at the beginning, but there's money out there, and there's a lot of money to be earned the higher up you go. So I guess, I guess, I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit, like, how have you found it? Because you're obviously freelance, and I know you've kind of spoken about there's like a weird stigma around money. Have you found that now you're working professionally?
I feel like everyone's attracted to the idea of being like the tortured artist, and it's like good on social media because everyone's just like, yeah, you're like, it's so attractive, but at the end of the day, to be a tortured artist, you have to come from a rich family. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you come from a middle class, working class background, you're not going to get an entryway into the industry. You have to really work you have to really work for it, and you can't sustain yourself if you don't charge, and if you work for the bare minimum. And also you should kind of think of it as like valuing your work. You know, it's like you've spent so much time and effort, brain power into creating a piece of work. Why should you yourself and not get paid for it? And everyone has an ethos. Everyone has their own pride. Everyone has like, oh yeah, obviously I want to be more sustainable, or I want to be like more feminine and ethnical and all that. Like, everyone has a conscience, you know, but so does it. Like, I feel like the industry nowadays obviously see that as well, so they're looking for that as well. So you shouldn't sell yourself short, because it's not a niche thing anymore to be sustainable. So if you have an ethos, if your ethos was to be like, I'm going to be more sustainable as an artist, therefore I don't want to
right, okay, you don't want to like get rid of your values, kind of feel so yourself short.
But then some of the biggest brands want to be sustainable and want to like obviously contribute to kind of helping the planets now, because sustainability sells.
I think people think that they have to compromise for paid work, and you don't, and like maybe you do in the early days, but like you'll eventually get to a stage where people will come to you for what you do, so you shouldn't have to compromise. And I think people need to realize that even if you maybe get a job where, like, in the job I'm in now, maybe I didn't think that I could be as creative as I have been, but I've been able to develop the role into what is me, and I have so much creative freedom, and I'm very lucky for that. But I wouldn't have thought that before this job, you know. I thought it would be very structured and I wouldn't have any freedom, so you just don't know. So I guess my point is, I want to make it clear to people that they can have paid jobs or full-time jobs that are still fully them, that they can still have full creative freedom, and they don't have to compromise themselves. Did you intern after uni? What was your step after you graduated?
We went straight into work. I feel like we were lucky in that sense, because I've had some really bad horror stories of my friends doing internships and, you know, not getting paid and working crazy hours. So I think we were lucky in that sense. But I mean, we obviously worked a lot as well. But I mean, I like assisted at shoots. I did like work experience, stuff like that, but not an actual like long internship, because I think obviously they don't pay, and I needed to like. It was more like we were working part time alongside our freelance work as well, just to get money in. So it's very much like we can't put everything down just to intern, because it costs money to intern, and obviously no one pays for internships. And they're doing things like, obviously they're offering internships and they're paying that. All they offer is your travel and then your like lunch, which is what, like £5. So if you're doing that full time every day, you're gonna be spending more of your money than.
I mean, I know I'm slightly older than you, and I think for me, when I left uni and it was the norm. You would never be paid. Like, it was just seemed like it was a taboo thing to kind of expect to be paid. It was just kind of, you just was always told that it's going to be a struggle. And I used to work 5 days a week interning, and then I'd work at the weekends in retail to kind of fund my travel. And I was commuting from Essex, so it would be like £30 a day ticket. So it was a lot of money. I was spending pretty much all my money on that. But I guess, and I drifted off a little bit, but I guess it's kind of related. I listened to a podcast, and it was basically saying how female creatives struggle to place themselves, and they get embarrassed to ask for a certain amount of money, basically, like what you're worth. So do you find that's hard, and do you think people expect to pay you less because you're a woman as a freelancer?
I don't know. If anything, they expect to pay us less because we're younger. That's the issue at the moment. They're like, okay, you're young, so therefore don't have experience in the industry, so we can pay you for like a junior rate. Whereas obviously, which is a bit strange, and we kind of like not fight back, but we do say that we've been in this industry for over 3 years.
But it's difficult because I feel like with a lot of jobs, you go in and be like, you need someone, you need to ask someone and be like, how much are you earning? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so different because you ask a man within the industry and they say a huge number. And then you're like, oh, okay, that seems a lot. And they're like, oh yeah, it's honestly what I would expect. It's completely normal. And then you say the same price or like even a bit under, and then the client comes back and they're like, that's insane, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, but like, I've been doing it the same time as this guy. We're like on the same kind of, we've got the same kind of like accolades in terms of like the projects that we've done. So it's like, it's interesting to see how there's actually a bit of a contrast. And it's difficult as well because there's not a lot of female creatives within the industry that demand like that certain amount of money. You don't, it's not a big enough community for people to openly talk about how much they're earning. So you can't really ask, you know, like how much
and I think as women, I feel like we're quite private when it comes to that kind of thing. Whereas I do think guys have a bit of a pack mentality where they're openly talk about salaries and how much they get paid and how much they earn. And I think women are always very like coy about like sharing that. And I think it's so important, especially in being a freelancer. You need to work out your worth and what the rates are. So it's definitely good to talk. Do you think you've always had that confidence to kind of know your worth and know what to ask for in terms of pay?
No,
at the start, chump change. Literally chump change.
We were doing so much work and it was like weeks and weeks of worth of work for like nothing, like the bare minimum. And I think before we were kind of just like, oh, we have to do it.
Yeah, we were just lucky. Like I was just like grateful just to get the job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But now we're kind of just like, we have to value ourselves, our work, and who we are as creators. So obviously we have to ask for like more than our base fee and what the job is and how much time goes into it. So
and their budget as well. We always put their budget into consideration.
Yeah.
It's not like going and being like, this is the bare minimum, like this is what I expect. I'm always like, what's your budget? Like how big is the budget? Like,
and negotiate. I think negotiating is a big part, isn't it? Having the confidence to do that.
Also, I don't think people realize how much time creative work is, because it's never just like, you know, you just do from 10 to 5. It doesn't switch off there. We literally like edit until, I don't know, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning.
I know we've had conversations, Naomi, you know, that we going like talking to each other like really late at night, and that's, we all just thought that was completely normal. You know what I mean? When the work needs to be done, it needs to be done, but it's a lot of work and there's always a deadline. And
you don't turn off at 5 o'clock. So I guess moving on, well, it's kind of a bit of a, it's a kind of maybe a hard question, but what do you enjoy the most about what you do? Is there something that, or is there a particular thing that you enjoy, each of you enjoy more than the other?
I think with me, it's more of like seeing an idea come to life. So kind of just seeing something that you visualize in your head, and then being like, okay, look, this is it. I'm gonna make it. So it's nice to actually have something to look forward to as well, and just like be in the process of making. And then just like working with other creatives. I think we enjoy that. Like,
you're meeting new people all the time, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like if you're interested in art, it's nice knowing that you're making money from the piece that you're creating. There's something like, you know, like people trust in the work that you're creating, and there's an audience, and they're kind of like, oh, this is cool, you know what I mean? And when you see it come to life, that's very kind of
because it's a personal thing. Like when you're making something, when it's something creative, it's personal, it's from you. So when people appreciate that, it does mean a lot.
Sure.
It's rewarding. Like it's a really rewarding job, I think.
So I guess we have spoke about this off camera and in our personal life, but do you find it hard, or have you noticed it being hard, because I know you always also work as kind of directors on things as well. Do you find it hard being a female in a position of power on set or in the industry? Because I know I've faced things where kind of people underestimate you or something. So what can you kind of speak about an experience where you felt like you've kind of been underappreciated or kind of undervalued?
There's literally been like 3 occasions where I've gone on set and it's like been quite a big shoot and they've thought that I'm the assistant like so many times, because like if you do a bigger brand, like you kind of like lose the people in the process, and like not all the team meeting, and then they've just been like, they've either thought I'm like the makeup artist, the stylist, or an assistant if I'm like stood next to like one of the male, like the photographer or something, which is crazy to me.
I mean, it's fine. Like, it's fine if they think that we're like makeup artists and stylists or whatever, but it's just like weird that they would just assume.
Yeah, there's already like there's a gender role within.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you expect the makeup artist to be a female. You expect the
stylist to be a female.
The camera operator to be a man, or a gaffer to be a man.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to me.
So how do you navigate that like on set? Because obviously it's hard, because I've found that too, especially when I'm working with new people. I think because I'm quite like friendly and open. I think, well, when I worked with you guys, I know you were quite surprised. Not that you had expected anything less, but like you were surprised at how I was on set, I guess, because I am quite down to earth, but then on set I can be quite assertive and know what I want. And I know you've mentioned that, but so how do you kind of navigate those kind of situations without coming across as being like?
I mean, I think the proof is just in the work. Like all you can do with it is laugh it off and be like, haha, yeah, I'm the director, and then make amazing work,
and then just kind of like crack down like on your work and just be like, okay, this is what needs to be done today, blah blah blah. I now go into set like super confident, just introduce yourself straight away instead of just before I just kind of like go talk to my thing and just everyone individually just be like, oh, this is what I'm just like, hi, my name is Fa, like how's it going? Hey, nice to see you, that's cool. Because I feel like
you have to be you can't be quietly confident as a female in like a director position, and you do have to go in and I was exactly the same as you. Like I used to kind of just walk in on set and assume everyone would know who I was, and now it's kind of you go in on set, you shake everyone's hand, you kind of introduce yourself, and I start off kind of explaining what the kind of like the steps are for the day or whatever, like the end goal of today. I know obviously we worked on the Halloween campaign together, and that whole situation after with the person that we'd worked on it with, and I was kind of tagged as a feature on the project that I'd worked on for a year. It was just kind of, it was things like that I feel like you wouldn't really get as a man, but you get as a female, and it is hard. It's kind of something you learn, and hopefully like with experience you learn to deal with better. So are there any projects that you're working on at the moment? I know we spoke about NFTs and that whole world, which is kind of a whole new world that's becoming bigger. Are you still working on that? Can you speak a bit about NFTs and what the whole movement is there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a constant process. You know what I mean? The market is so saturated, but we've got some like interesting kind of sponsors and platforms that it could go on. But obviously, like that's more of a kind of design experimental work.
Yeah, and that's more like personal work.
Yeah, and it's difficult when there's other projects because you need to like worry about money and the things it's paying. But like when it's kind of your own design work, you don't have as much time. And I feel like it's been weird because like, sorry.
That's fine. Do you think that art is going to be like NFT? Obviously, NFTs are big now anyway, but do you think that's how the world is moving kind of digitally in that aspect? So I watched a podcast, I think with FaZe Banks, and he was saying that obviously these NFTs are so expensive because eventually we'll be living in like this virtual reality world, and your NFT will be hanging on the wall, and it'll be like kind of a status symbol. So do you kind of see that too?
Yeah, I think it's so big now and people are investing so much money into it. It's going to be like a new age of artists. Like there's gonna be a Picasso of like the VR digital realm. There's gonna be an Andy Warhol. You know what I mean? Like
I think you kind of have to with the times in terms of art and design. Obviously, with everything now, like obviously we're always constantly designing for like other platforms like TikTok or you know, it's never just okay, this is just gonna go on a website. Or
there are so many media formats that everything is going into, and we're moving more into the digital realm anyway. So I think it's an interesting and kind of exciting pathway to go into. But yeah, I mean, there are little like setbacks to it, I guess, because it shows that anyone can be an artist, which is great because it offers a lot of opportunities. But that means that, you know,
there's
like,
a lot of junk going around as well, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just so people can make money, they're just putting anything out there and not really caring about the quality and the work they're putting out, as long as they can just make money and sell it and make money. You kind of have to really like sort through the bad to find like the gems.
And it's all about views now. It's what can capture audiences, and whether it's like good or bad. If it's interesting for that bit, like something can be completely mundane, and you're like, and someone will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn this into a meme," and then that meme can then become an NFT. Like people are literally selling memes as NFT. Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like subjective, and NFTs are very virtual.
But then art is subjective, fashion is subjective. It's very much down to marketing. Marketing is literally like the biggest kind of, like, if you're the best marketing company or like you know what I mean, you can make anything, you can sell anything.
I guess, how does social media play a role in your kind of business, I guess? Have you received a lot of work? I know we met via social media. I contacted you off Instagram because I liked your work on there. It's not something personally that I've invested too much time into, but you have quite a good following on there, on Instagram especially. So do you find it benefits you?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our work, mostly it's been clients reaching out or finding us through Instagram. I think it's difficult because we try to market ourselves as creators, but at the same time, people are interested in kind of like your lifestyle as well, like what you do, what you're interested in, kind of like they see now everyone as like as an artist in general. So you kind of have to show like who you are. But it's definitely opened doors for us. Like I feel like if we didn't have social media, it would be more of a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
And do you like doing like the modeling side of it? Sorry, Fon, you go.
I mean, when we were younger.
No, I was just gonna say that I can't remember what I was gonna say. But I just think we're grateful that the platform is like about during our time, so you might as well make the most of it. And obviously, if you look back, literally like a few years like back, we don't have anything like this. You know, you have Facebook, which is something you kind of like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's more of a closed community, but then like Instagram obviously opened it up into like a way bigger thing. And I think that social media completely encaptures kind of this idea of anyone could like be, if you've got like talent or if you've got like the drive to put just like constantly post and put your work on there and create content, then it allows anyone. You can literally be in a remote town, like
that's sure.
the other side of the world, and you'll still get clients, and they can like, you don't have to physically work within like the same location as them. Like
it's good marketing at the end.
Yeah, it's definitely opened up a lot of doors for people. Yeah, it's really crazy because the thing, I didn't have Instagram until like a couple of years after I left uni, which was insane. I didn't have an iPhone until after that. So I always think like, how would I have grown? Because a lot of people, they'll be at university and be growing their following there, and be able to put like their graduate like collections or graduate shows or whatever on Instagram, and kind of it gives them a bit of a platform. So when they've left, they're already known almost. So it's very interesting. Yeah, and it's just something that I guess a generation above didn't really have that opportunity, and it's about tapping into that now, I guess. So what is some of the most exciting things that you've worked on? Obviously, it was amazing, the Converse campaign that you did for Runstar. So what do you think of that? What's your favorite?
I mean, we had a lot of fun on that. Obviously, we have a really good relationship with Converse, and it's always good with them. They've always been super kind of open to the brief, about the brief, and then just like this, your creatives through and through. So like, we're gonna accommodate like whatever you guys want to do. So it's that one. Like a couple of them have been really kind of interesting in that fact. Then, I do love a brief, and I do love. It's weird because we're not. I feel like at the start we were taking on a lot of projects, and it was just like, oh, why are we taking this on? Like, it's not like, I feel like it didn't match our aesthetic or whatever. But then we became not super, but became a lot more selective on like what projects we bring on, because I feel like, oh, if we're not gonna be able to do this one because it's not our aesthetic, there's no point like selling something to the client and saying like, oh, this is like the aesthetic that we like normally work with. So we are quite selective in like what projects that we pick, and if it doesn't, we always listen to the brief first, because I feel like everyone needs to like have a chance to explain what they want to get across. But if the brief doesn't excite us, and if we don't kind of look at each other after the briefing and be like, yeah, we like it, then we're not going to take on the project.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess that
like every single project.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the benefits of establishing yourself as artists as well. You do kind of gain that creative control eventually. So how do you feel, Fa? What's one of your favorite things you've worked on?
I mean, I feel like they're all my favorites. That's the thing. Most people that we work for, like most of our clients, have been really open to what they like want, and like they kind of have just kind of let us have free reign on everything.
All been like super community. Like if it's a collaborative piece, then like I feel like communication is really, really key within everything. But it's been every single person we've ever worked with has been like a dream. Thank God. So
for sure. So I think I can't pick a favorite because I kind of like them all.
No,
so far,
no, that's fair. No, every project's different, I guess. So what do you define as success, and do you feel like you're successful?
I guess
a G-Wagon.
A G-Wagon. Hey. No. I want a penthouse. I want a G-Wagon.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're successful yet, or because I guess some people think that success is a lot of money and getting to a certain level in their career or notoriety or whatever, but then others just think it's doing what you love and getting paid and being able to live off that. So how do you feel? Like, I struggle with feeling like I'm successful now because there's so much more I want to do, but then I know you guys say you are successful to us. So I guess how do you feel about it? Do you feel like there's a lot more you want to achieve, or do you feel comfortable in the position you are in now?
I think we are like successful in the fact that we've overcome our own personal evolution of like design, like our own design, and like being able to be like to say that we've evolved so much
and being
from
like this is our look,
stage.
And obviously for me, I'm happy if I have a roof over my head and I'm able to like eat. Do you know what I mean? So I'm obviously feel very like blessed in that sense. And
like, to do what we
I have a job, do what we love. Do you know? So I do think, but I also think that you have to dream big as well. Like, just because I feel like you should settle for less when you can have more. And it doesn't mean like material things. I'm just saying like you can inspire others and help others, and
you can just grow more in your career, and like that can be defined as success or just your own like personal goals and aims. Like, I think it's always good that everyone should have a goal in life,
and it's good to kind of like not be stagnant, like keep progressing. It doesn't mean like keep making money, but you're kind of improving as an artist, and you're kind of experimenting in terms of like what you want to do, you know what I mean, and constantly realize that there's always like someone who's going to be better than you, and there's always going to be work that's going to come out that's going to be better than yours. How can you improve? How can you learn from it? How can you like expand as a business, you know?
So yeah, that's true. And I guess lastly, I just want to end on a question for you. What is one piece of advice that you would give up and coming creatives or anyone at university that are looking to get into the industry?
I say work your ass off. Never, ever, ever think that you're owed anything from anyone. And that's not just with work, but in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're lucky to be born, and, you know, and you're probably like luckier than most people. And, you know, I feel like there's always going to be someone who's going to like work a lot harder than you. So don't think that you're like working so hard and you're like, you know, hard done by, whatever. Just, you know, just get on with it. That was such a harsh advice, sorry. Obviously enjoy your life and like
I do think if you're privileged enough to follow a dream, like, you've just got to go with it, like, definitely.
Yeah. And I feel like if you can think about like bettering yourself, and if your primary worry isn't to get water, to get food, to have a shelter over your head, then you are privileged enough. And there's literally thousands of people who want like your position, and there's no such thing as like, there's nothing holding you back. So just like try your best, and like trust in yourself and respect yourself. Always like hold your head high, and also support like the people around you, and collaborate, and not push anyone down, because there is enough room at the top, you know what I mean?
And also live, love, laugh.
Have fun while you're doing it. All right, well, thank you so much, girl, for talking with me today, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye.